Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Cretaceous Chronicles, a show where we talk about all things Jurassic. I'm Dom Giusti, here with both Sam and Jack Perkins. Thanks for joining us, guys. And today, we are only a couple days away from the premiere of Jurassic World Rebirth. So, because of that, we're just gonna talk about the new movie, what we're hoping is going to happen, and we're also going to get into a little bit of the information we have going into it.
Yeah, how are you guys feeling about it? I'm really excited about this.
I am super excited.
Jack, how you feeling?
Excited.
Not to give anything away, because I don't know anything, but the three of us are going to be going to see the movie together on the day that it opens.
Exactly.
So, how you feeling about that, Jack? Jack is unusually shy right now. Uncharacteristically. Okay. So movie coming out. Dom, once again, briefly, what do we know about the plot? What is publicly out there about the plot?
So basically, there is this big pharmaceutical company that is looking for a cure for, I think, like some heart disease. And so they're getting DNA from the three biggest animals from land, sea, and air to study the DNA, maybe study like their immune system, find a cure for this disease. So they go to this remote island that has somehow never been talked about in any of the 6 films, where they find they get the DNA from dinosaurs, supposedly. We don't know if that happens. But they uncover some dark secrets.
Yeah, and my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, is that this island is supposed to have been where they were creating the dinosaurs used for the Jurassic World theme park that was in the first Jurassic World movie. And specifically, they were creating dinosaurs, and then they started creating hybrids there, so you'd think that this is maybe where the Indominus was made. This is where a lot of dinosaurs were made. And allegedly, the dinosaurs that are still on this island are the ones that were too dangerous to actually bring to the park, they said, or something like that.
Yeah, allegedly. So on the topic of hybrids, like you were saying, is in one of the first scenes, where we see the mutant dinosaurs, that scene supposedly is supposed to take place 17 years before the events of Rebirth, so 2010, I believe.
So that would have been even before the first Jurassic World movie, is that correct?
Yes.
And so we think this is even before the Indominus was ever made, because the Indominus was made right before the Jurassic World movie.
Exactly. So basically, the idea is, from the dialogue in the trailers, it did say that it was the research facility for the original Jurassic Park. So maybe it was something similar to Nublar, where the people in Jurassic Park used it, so then we'll just go back and use like the same setup, but we're going to do something different. So basically the idea with that information, we can conclude that by the time of the opening scene, they had already mastered the art of making dinosaurs. But now, people don't think dinosaurs are as cool. So now, they're starting to make hybrids. And that's where we get these genetic abominations of the D-Rex, but also the Mutodons, which was revealed in the second trailer.
What are the Mutodons
So basically, it's a hybrid between a raptor and a pterosaur, which many people are speculating is Pteranodon, because like you could tell like it's got like the basic build of a raptor, but it's also got like the pterosaur wings. It's got like a pterosaur beak. It basically looks more like a hybrid than it does a mutant. The D-Rex looks like mutant experiment gone wrong. The Mutodons, though, they look like they could be an actual hybrid.
Jack, what do you think about that? A hybrid between some sort of pterosaur, maybe a pteranodon, and a raptor?
It's probably a Quetzalcoatlus, maybe.
I don't think it's big enough to be a mix with the Quetzalcoatlus from what we've seen.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, if it was a Quetzalcoatlus, then it probably would have been like a little bit bigger than a raptor, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so as far as we know also, does this still stand what they said originally, which is at this point they're saying dinosaurs can't survive throughout the world and they've migrated back or died off to these certain specific areas?
Yes, I think we're still going with that.
Do you think that they are going to have some sort of in-depth explanation, or it's just going to totally retcon and they're not even going to acknowledge that the way that Dominion ended, it seemed like it was like, dinosaurs are here to stay and we need to deal with them. Do you think there's going to be some sort of explainer, or it's just going to not even...
I would imagine that maybe like after the opening scene with the like D-Rex and the lab that we saw in trailer 2 at the very beginning of trailer 2,
Yeah.
I would imagine that maybe what they would do is they would have some sort of like news segment like they did at the start of Dominion, where they had like the news segment of like, oh, dinosaurs are living in our world, we have to adjust. I think they might do something like that.
Okay.
Also, one thing I do have to say is, so they say that wild dinosaurs are no longer a thing. But I would also kind of imagine that maybe there are like dinosaur sanctuaries throughout the world where the dinosaurs aren't in the wild, but they're in captivity, being regularly monitored, taken care of, stuff like that.
Do we think that Biosyn Sanctuary is still going to be a sanctuary at this point? Do we think that there's still going to be dinosaurs living there? Because that's when Dominion ended. It showed that's where Rexy wound up. That's where there were all kinds of dinosaurs living there. And we have another season of Chaos Theory where they're heading to that.
Yes.
So, and I know that's Chaos Theory set at the time of Dominion, not here, which is supposed to be 5 years after Dominion. Is that correct?
Yes, so it would take place in 2027 technically. And you could tell because there are like some like modernized weapons that the people on the boat are using.
So do we think that there's going to be any reference at all to Biosyn Sanctuary? And if so, what do we think is going to be the status of Biosyn Sanctuary?
So I'm a little bit iffy on the direct reference to Biosyn. Think it could be possible. But I think it's highly unlikely that we're gonna get a reference to Biosyn. But if we do, then I honestly have no idea what they're.
I feel
gonna
like
go
it might just be it's left unknown, where they don't even say. So it's like it's sort of up to, because maybe they haven't figured it out yet, and they're thinking we want to see where this potential new chapter of the franchise goes. Do we want to bring that back into the fold? Do we not want to bring that back into the fold? So they might not say, and so we just won't.
We might
know.
also even get something like in Chaos Theory, like in a future season of Chaos Theory. Maybe not necessarily season 4, but like maybe like the finale season of Chaos Theory. We might get like some answers.
That'd be interesting.
Like kind of like how at the end of Camp Cretaceous season 5 we had the like little teaser like of the Brachiosaurus outside Darius's window.
So do you think there are going to be any direct references to any characters that have happened in either of the previous, and by characters I mean it could be human, could be a dinosaur, could be Mr. DNA, do we think that there's going to be any character that previously appeared in any of the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World franchise that will be directly referenced in this franchise? Do we think that there's going to be we might not see the actual character, but they're going to at least directly reference a species, a character, maybe a dinosaur, maybe a person from the previous franchises to this?
Yeah, I definitely think in terms of dinosaurs, I think that they're trying to stray away from like the dinosaur protagonist of like Blue, Rexy, Bumpy. Like those are like dinosaur protagonists. I think they're trying to... Okay, I shouldn't say that. I definitely think that they're going more towards dinosaurs not being good or bad. I think they're just showing like dinosaurs being dinosaurs, like especially with the T-Rex, especially with the raptors. Like there's really no protagonist. It's just a dinosaur like being a dinosaur. With that being said, I did remember that there is supposedly this little dinosaur that one of the characters bonds with. I think in like the promotional material, its name is like Dolores or something. And this is the dinosaur that I am by far the most excited to see, because this is one that not many people have heard about. It's called an Aqualops, which is it's a much smaller relative of Triceratops. And I'm really happy to see this because we've got like, you know, like T-Rex, Raptor, Triceratops, so on and so forth. But then we've got like some dinosaurs that like are kind of well known. Like some people, like a handful of people know Carnotaurus and Allosaurus and even like Parasaurolophus. But then you've got like not many people know dinosaurs such as Atrociraptor, Pyroraptor,
Giganotosaurus.
I'd say a lot of people know about Giganotosaurus. Even like from Camp Cretaceous, like Ouranosaurus, Monolophosaurus. Not many people know about those. Aqualops is one of those dinosaurs that not many people know about. And I'm very excited that it's getting represented.
What dinosaurs, that makes me think of, what dinosaurs are you hoping to see in this that maybe we haven't seen in the preview? Do we think that there's going to be any other species that we haven't seen yet in the preview? And are there specific species that you're hoping to see? Like, Jack, are there any species of dinosaur maybe you haven't seen before or you haven't seen much that you're hoping are in this movie, you're hoping make an appearance in this movie?
Oh, Carnotaurus.
Ooh, you're hoping to see the Carnotaurus?
I always love the Carnotaurus. I feel like we haven't... I don't know what it is about it, because I really didn't even know it existed until I got back into Jurassic, the franchise. But it is very fun, you know, Toro from Camp Cretaceous. But then every time the Carnotaurus makes an appearance in like Dominion, or what was the one before Dominion? Fallen Kingdom. Very fun. And then obviously this past season of Chaos Theory, the Carnotaurus in the final episode played a huge role. So I think it would be really cool to see that. It would be cool to see some other carnivores that we haven't seen much. We've got a couple here. We've got some that they've made toys of for a while, like a Sinotyrannus or a young Yangchuanosaurus would be cool to see on camera. I don't know that I have high hopes that any of them will appear. It's interesting that the Jurassic franchise always puts out these toys that are cool of different species, but yet they never even just give us a little glimpse of them on any of the movies or shows. But it would be cool.
One of the things that I hope to see, one of the dinosaurs, is I'm kind of hoping that maybe we could see some like Camp Cretaceous Chaos Theory dinosaurs. Like the one I'm most looking or that I would like to see is the Ouranosaurus.
Yeah.
Because we have not seen that since Chaos Theory season, or not even Chaos Theory, Camp Cretaceous season 3.
Yep.
And we have not seen any Ouranosaurus.
They're plant eaters, right?
Yes, they're herbivores.
But they were acting all crazy because of the
Scorpius Rex.
Scorpius Rex was throwing everyone off. Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly definitely want to see some more herbivore action. One herbivore that I heard was sort of teased, and I don't know for certain, but it's another relative of Triceratops called Diabloceratops. I heard that teased somewhere. But yeah, I don't know for sure if we're going to see a Diabloceratops. I think it'd be cool though, because, I know we have like a bunch of ceratopsians in the films. We have Triceratops, Sinoceratops, Nasutoceratops, Microceratus, Now we have Aqualops, and of course maybe Diabloceratops. But still, Diabloceratops is a pretty cool dinosaur. It lived in the same environment as Nasutoceratops, so I think that's kind of cool that we're getting some more representation.
I got a question for each of you. So I'm going to set the number here at 25. Do you think we will see more or less than 25 different species of dinosaur total in the new movie?
Ooh.
More or less than 25 species? I'm not saying 25 dinosaurs if there's, 8 Spinosaurus. And do we think, and by dinosaurs, I should say prehistoric species. So that includes Mosasaurus, which technically wasn't a dinosaur, I get it, or the flying pteranodons or anything like that technically weren't. But do we think we will see more or less than 25 different species of prehistoric animal in this movie?
I think we would see more because there might be like saber-toothed tigers, maybe.
I'm honestly gonna say less.
Okay.
Because the guy, Martin Krebs, says that the island has housed 24 species over the past couple of years.
So we probably won't see. Okay.
I don't think it's likely that we're gonna see all of them.
So you're probably right, in my opinion. So let's come out as another way. Let's take a guess of how many different species are going to be in it, and we'll see. Whoever wins gets a prize. The prize will be, I'm not sure what. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But how many different species do you think will be in the movie?
Okay, so let's think about it this way. What were the species that appeared in the trailers?
What do you remember from species from the trailers that we've seen, Jack, from the preview?
T-Rex.
T-Rex.
Quetzalcoatlus.
Yep, that's 2. Yeah.
Spinosaurus.
Spinosaurus, that's 3.
Mosasaurus.
That's 4.
Does it count hybrids?
Yeah, we'll count hybrids. Yep.
Yeah.
D-Rex.
D-Rex is 5.
And
Those Mutodons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
6.
Megalodon.
There was the Titanosaurus.
Titanosaurus is 7.
Aqualops.
Aqualops is 8.
Mosasaurus.
We already said that, so we were at 8.
We see the Dilophosaurus.
Dilophosaurus is 9.
Velociraptor.
Yeah.
That's 10.
And then I think from other promotional materials that I saw online, I think it also said Ankylosaurus,
11.
Compy,
12.
Carnotaurus,
13.
and if we want to count Diabloceratops, 14.
14. Okay. So that puts us at 14. So the question is, do we think there will be something that we're unaware of, a couple of them or not? And this is for each of us to decide. So how many total species do we think we will see in this movie? I'm going to say 16. I don't know why that number is just jumping out at me in my head. I'm going to say 16.
Say 20.
Okay, 20 for Dom. How many do you think, Jack?
19.
19 for Jack. 16 for me, 19 for Jack, 20 for Dom. We'll see who comes the closest to getting this one right, and the winner will get to choose food the next time we're all in the studio.
Woo! Let's go.
Yeah. Speaking of food, go-to snacks. What are we gonna have to eat and drink at this movie? What are we thinking? Popcorn.
So yeah,
Okay.
obviously. So here's the thing with me. I feel like I need to balance out the flavors. I feel like I need to get something salty, obviously the popcorn.
Yeah.
I need to get something sweet, like a chocolate or something, and then I need to get something like fruity.
Yeah. That makes sense. So I think here's a question: popcorn. It's like popcorn's a must at movies. I just feel like unless you have some sort of allergy or whatever, it's so unhealthy for you. The good movie popcorn with the butter and but popcorn is a must. It just to me is the movie experience. I think about my childhood. I think about popcorn as the one thing I would always get. Do you put butter on your popcorn, and do you put extra salt on your popcorn?
I do not do salt.
I do not do salt either.
I love that. Actually, no, not too much. Not just like a little salt, but not too much salt, because then
We don't really put the extra salt. It's just whatever comes on it. But
yeah,
extra
and
butter.
honestly, I
Butter.
don't really take the time to go do the extra butter.
yeah.
Yeah.
I see. I like the butter. There used to be some theaters when I was a kid. Now the self-serve is like they give you the bag of popcorn and they're like, go put your own butter on it. Get out of my face. But like when I was a kid, there was a couple of movie theaters that they literally fill it up like a third of the way, put butter in, fill it up another third, put butter in, fill it up the rest of the way, put butter in, and I'd be like, you're the MVP right there.
Oh.
Now they just give you the full thing, and they're like, the butter's over there. So I try to get it swimming in butter. The problem is, if you get enough butter to get it down below the top, then the top layer is like disgustingly soggy.
Ugh.
So like, yeah, I'm not really sure how to balance this out, but butter on it definitely. What's your go-to drink?
Coca-Cola.
Honestly, normally I just get a water,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna go out and say this: the absolute goated drink is chocolate milk.
Really? Okay.
Chocolate milk is
Chocolate milk is a great. I don't think I've ever had it in a movie theater. I have to get something with bubbles to go. It's just a thing for me with the popcorn. I would always used to get Coke. Coke's not good for me, and I'm trying to lose weight. It's like I could go Coke Zero. I don't know. Whenever I get like a 0-calorie drink, though, for the most part, like a Coke, it just makes me like being like, I wish I'd had the real thing. Because sometimes it's the same. But like the new movie theaters where you can choose, if they have like a sparkling water option, I'll go with that. That's like a seltzer basically, because like the bubbles I think are good. So you need something chocolatey. What's your go out of all the candies that you could get at a movie theater? What would you go with?
I really love the like mini Kit Kats, like not even like the mini bars that are come in the wrappers, but like the bag that you open that like have the little Kit Kat nuggets.
That's a good one. Yeah, the individual Kit Kats. What do you think, Jack?
I would like the ice cream that's like little dots.
Okay,
The dots, yes, I love those.
Okay, I know the one that you're talking about. Okay, so that's a good one. I'm trying to think of like. So I feel like my wife, who will be going with all of us.
What about Avi?
Avi, Jack's younger brother, Aviv. We're not telling him we're going to the movie because I just don't think he's got it in him to make it through a movie. He's going to be with a babysitter. He's not going to know. Babysitter's going to get him straight from preschool. He's just not going to know that he's not included because we tried to take him to a movie earlier this year. Avi loves Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, maybe more than either of you or me, and we really like it. But like Avi,
I like it more than him.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm not gonna get in the middle of that one. Avi really loves dinosaurs, though. They're his thing. But in a movie theater, I just don't think that he can make it through it. He would be like, there's an episode of Bluey where Bingo goes crazy in the movie theater, and I think that would be Avi. We tried to take him to a movie earlier this year, and once the previews ended, he was like, I'm ready to go home. And it was like, okay, get him out of here. So Avi won't be there. But we won't tell him that till he's older. But I am really excited about this. I've been really excited. I mean, this is the most excited I think I've been for a movie in a long time. I'm excited.
Yeah.
How many people do we think are going to die in this? Do we think more or less? First question is over or under more or less than 5? More or less than 5 human deaths in this movie?
I think more, but not by much.
Okay.
I'd say like most 8. That's
right.
my guess or I'd say like 6, 7, or 8.
Okay.
One of those two.
What do you think, Jack?
More.
How many do you think are going to die?
Like 7.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll go 9 just to be different. I think we know of at least one because there's that newer preview where you see some guy get snatched by a Spinosaurus on the boat. I don't see anyone making it out of that. So that's
also,
one.
If you include the opening scene with the guy behind the glass.
Okay, yep,
God
that's
rest
2.
his soul.
Yep, we'll include that. So that's 2.
Yeah.
He got eaten by the T-Rex.
Yeah, he definitely gets eaten by the deer. So that's definitely 2 because I just don't see the Spinosaurus grab someone and you see him get yanked. I don't see someone making it out of that.
Yo, now that you bring that up, it kind of reminds me of the like very first death in the entire franchise with the
the poor guy.
Yeah, where he's like holding on to the wall.
Shoot her!
And he gets dragged. That's what it reminds me of.
Where what's his name? Shoot her!
Robert Muldoon.
Yeah, so I could totally see that actually. You think it'd be worse to go getting eaten by a raptor or a Spinosaurus? Spinosaurus probably over quicker.
Spinosaurus, definitely.
Yeah.
Because the jaw, it would be it could crush you.
Yeah, but maybe that would be less painful than being eaten by a raptor, where it's going to be.
It has
Yeah.
more teeth.
That like little thing
And
that
it has
Dr.
a
Grant
bigger
says.
Yeah.
The thing that Dr. Grant says about the raptors, like, I don't know, like disemboweling their prey. The point is, you're alive when they start to eat you.
Yep. Okay, so we've got that question. Speaking of the Spinosaurus, because there's multiple ones.
Yes.
And they introduced this concept of them pack hunting with the Mosasaurus.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot has been said about how they've redesigned the Spinosaurus from previously in the franchise, where Jurassic Park 3, the Spinosaurus was the new big bad dinosaur. And then the Spinosaurus hasn't appeared in another movie, but it has been in it was in Camp Cretaceous seasons 4 and 5.
Yes.
And it had that same look as in Jurassic Park 3, and they've really redesigned the Spinosaurus.
Yeah.
Do we think there's going to be any explanation given, or no, for the new look?
I think that that's honestly a really good question. So, I think maybe it could have to do with like maybe when they first made it in, I think it was made in like 1999, the original Spinosaurus. Maybe like they like supplemented like Spinosaurus with like maybe some other dinosaurs, like not like full on hybrid mode,
Yeah.
but like to fill in the gaps they used like, I don't know, maybe like more land-based dinosaurs. But like maybe like I would imagine that maybe those Spinosaurus were made like when Jurassic World was up and running.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Because that also would have been when they made the Mosasaurus.
Do we think that there's going to be any dino versus dino actual battles in this movie? Or it's all going to be dino on humans trying to survive? Or do we think there's going to be that which seems to happen in so many of the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World movies, where dinosaurs end up fighting each other?
I think we're going to get something at the end where like something ends up killing the D-Rex. I don't know about the Mutodons, because again, like the Mutodons, they seem like they would be an actual hybrid.
Yeah.
Whereas the D-Rex is just
Some sort of mutation.
like, you can't even call it a dinosaur.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the way it looks. That they've gone so far afield of like the dinosaur look, but we'll see. Jack, do you think there's going to be any fights between different dinosaurs in the movie?
Yes. I think the D-Rex and the T-Rex are gonna get in a fight.
Okay.
Ooh.
And the T-Rex is gonna kill the D-Rex.
Yeah, I definitely think that the D-Rex is going to die at the end.
Or
But-
maybe the Mosasaurus just like...
Yeah, the Mosasaurus
Drags
comes
it.
through again and
Yes.
grabs someone and drags it into the deep, just like it did.
Like
with the...
it did with the Indominus Rex.
Here's a question. Now, we don't know, and we will not have an answer on this period, but we'll have a better idea after we really see what the D-Rex is all about. The D-Rex seems to be bigger than the Indominus in sheer size. Do we think that one or the other would be the clear apex, would come out on top in a direct battle between just those two?
Like the Irex and the D-Rex?
Yeah.
Ooh.
My thought is the Irex, just because it was so smart. It was
Yeah.
bred to be so intelligent.
Yeah,
that...
I honestly gotta agree, because it was smart, but
It was
also
fat.
it like
It was agile.
yeah, it was agile, and it just wasn't like deformed.
Yeah, and the camouflage factor too, where
Yes.
I feel like the D-Rex...
And it wasn't ugly.
Yeah, the D-Rex it just looks massive, and it has 4 arms and 2 legs, which
And it's ugly.
seems like wild, but sheer size and maybe brute strength, it would have the advantage. But I just feel like unless they come up with a real compelling argument, it hasn't in the previews made it seem like it's a super intelligent animal.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, but the Indominus that was one of its things was like it was so smart. It was able to communicate with the raptors, turn them against the handlers. That was able to just figure out a way to trick the humans into thinking it escaped its enclosure to bait them into coming in to then actually escape its enclosure. So it seems like it's a pretty wildly intelligent dinosaur that I don't think we're seeing that of the D-Rex yet. So my gut is the Indominus, but we'll have to reconvene after the movie and see what everyone thinks.
Yeah, I mean, I guess with the D-Rex, it did have those like pretty big, like the bigger arms could have maybe done some damage. But also the Indominus Rex has those, and I feel like the Indominus Rex would have like a more powerful jaw.
Yeah.
Because the D-Rex's jaw was like a lot more like deformed and like not like properly developed.
And it was like
yeah, that big
Yeah.
bulbous head.
So let's think about who we know are the main characters so far. And I'm blanking on the names, but I know there's Scarlett Johansson's character.
So that's
there's
Zora Bennett.
Yep, and then there's
And
who are
then
the other?
there's the
Jonathan
guy.
Bailey is playing Dr. Henry Loomis.
Okay, so that's two, and then the guy who's been rumored to play Blade in the new Marvel movie. It looks like maybe he's the guy who helps get them in, and I'm not sure. Maybe he's I don't know if he's piloting the boat or the plane or whatever it is that gets them in.
Oh, the guy who says like no one's dumb enough to go where we're going.
Yeah,
that's Duncan.
So Duncan. So those three. Are there any other that are main characters, or it's basically those three? It seems like.
So it's those three plus the quote unquote like human villain, which is Martin Krebs. That's the guy who's in charge of the pharmacy company.
Okay.
And then there's also this family. I think there's like the dad, the son, and the daughter. I don't know their first names, but I know their last name is Delgado. And I think the son has a girlfriend who they're like, I think what happens is like they're on a ship, they're going out doing their thing, and all of a sudden they get capsized by the Mosasaurus.
Yeah.
And they run into the mission people. And that's where the youngest finds Dolores, the Aqualops.
Now, do we think any of the main people are going to die in the movie? What do you think,
So
Jack?
I think... Oh,
You think
you think
yes.
so? Who do you think is going to die?
Everyone.
Everyone. That would definitely be an interesting movie. I think that Martin Krebs probably gonna die because he's the villain.
Yeah, there's
Who's
always
the
that status.
villain?
Someone named Martin Krebs that we haven't met before, but he's supposed to be, I guess, the villain. It's always satisfying when the villain gets eaten.
Yeah, and then I think if we were to get one other death from the main characters, maybe Duncan. Like maybe he would have like a death similar to Eddie Carr in The Lost World, who's like very like brave and valorant, ends up taking his life.
Which one was Eddie Carr?
Eddie Carr was so you had the trailer that was hanging off the cliff. He was the one in the car trying to pull it back up.
Oh yeah,
And then he got,
the two T-Rexes
ripped in half.
I think that's the most gruesome death in the whole franchise. Is him getting ripped in half? Like that was.
Oh, honestly, I would have to say, who's the guy in Fallen Kingdom? Ken Wheatley, the guy who got his arm ripped off by the Indoraptor.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty brutal to watch.
Yeah, that was.
No, here are the deaths that are probably most brutal. Eddie Carr, Ken Wheatley, and then the babysitter from Jurassic World.
Yeah, that was so unnecessary. They're like, she gets stuck babysitting, and then she gets just dragged off by one of the pterosaurs and then eaten by a mosasaur. It's
Yeah.
like,
With the dead pterosaur still.
yeah, that was an unnecessary
Her
death right
still
there.
a-
But
What if she's still alive in the Mosasaurus?
now,
she
do
could
do
survive.
we think this mosasaurus is going to be connected to the other mosasaurus in any way?
I honestly, I mean, the toy line Mosasaurus kind of looks like similar with the like
looks like
the
army.
scales you have, the
Yeah.
crocodilian scales you have on the back. Honestly, I would need to take another look at it, because if they call it like a mosasaur, there could be a theory that maybe it was like a different type of mosasaur, like not Mosasaurus, but like
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe like Prognathodon, Tylosaurus, one of the other.
Because we've never heard of there being another one out there anywhere, but if they
No.
made one, they could make more. So
It looks like army. It had like
Oh
army
yeah, it's got
colors.
it's got like a camouflage shirt.
Huh.
I never really thought
Yeah.
about that. Yeah.
So, any more thoughts we want to share before this movie? Because I'm excited, man. I can't wait for Wednesday.
So one thing I did recently think about is that I think it would be, it would have been a better idea, instead of saying like, oh, we need to get like the dinosaur, or like the biggest species from like land, sea, and air. I think it would have been better if they said like, oh, we need to get DNA from a dinosaur, then we have to get DNA from a pterosaur, and then we have to get DNA from a marine reptile, because you're distinguishing all three of those,
Yeah.
but like not in a way that sounds like cheesy, because like they're all from like different families, so it makes sense why you would want to get multiple types of DNA from three like
Yeah.
different
That makes sense.
species.
Well, last thing is, are we wearing Jurassic Park themed apparel to the movie?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so we are definitely rocking in style. We'll check back in after the movie. You want to sign out, Dom?
Oh
As
yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the Cretaceous Chronicles, where we talk about all things Jurassic. I'm Dom Giusti, once again here with Sam and Jack Perkins, signing off.
Awesome. Thanks, Dom. I'm gonna try and put this up right